Good evening. This is Raph from Adventures in DeFi Kingdoms. I'm streaming to you live, high above the keep, in the hot air balloon. Tonight, I have Neindorf with me.
How's it going, listeners?
All right. Well, we have some exciting news. We are going to go through some quick updates on the app system that we have developed. And a big thank you out there to one listener on Anchor who subscribed for a monthly donation for the podcast. So thank you very much. We're actually going to open up access to the app to you first. And so congratulations. Your name begins with the letter L. You should know who you are. Go ahead and reach out to Neindorf or myself out on Discord, and we'll get you set up with the very first alert. So, Neindorf, take us away with the question of the day.
Yeah, so this is related to the app if you want to pop that open. I've made some updates. I'm not sure what I think of this, and I want to get your opinion. What do you think the icon on the top of the web page is? This is a trivia question here.
All right, icon, top of the page, got to be a tree.
No, I was afraid of that. It's supposed to be the hot air balloon we're streaming from.
Yes.
When it gets small,
the wonderful hot air balloon. All right, well, the app is starting to look pretty fantastic. Why don't you walk our listeners and potentially viewers, and remember, we'll have some people on the podcast version, so walk us through what we have in store here on the DeFi Kingdoms app page.
Sure, yeah. So basically what we can see here is on the top there's a little feature that is for us, basically allowing us to do a non-expiring alert. That's just, we're not really going to probably open that one up to everybody, just because if we have people who create accounts and then don't ever service the account, you end up with a lot of server load for things like that. So we basically have an expiration for all of them. I believe I have it at 5 days currently. And with the price of Jewel moving so much, I think that's fairly realistic. So that's the top. And most users won't see that unless we end up releasing those privileges. But then after that, it's basically a bunch of checkboxes and drop downs for all of the different things that you can filter upon, very similar as to what you would see in the tavern when purchasing heroes. And so this is all of the criteria that we will end up allowing users to uncheck or check or put prices in, such that those alerts can be really what they're looking for tavern heroes that are getting listed on the market.
All right, well, that's fantastic. Thank you for all the hard work that has gone into this. I know it's been a lot of late night hours in development. So let's transition now to the AMA. Today is Tuesday, January 4th, and yesterday they had an AMA with the development team. You had a chance to take some notes on that. Why don't you fill us in on what stuck out to you?
Sure, yeah. So first of all, they are still planning on releasing Jewel mining this week. Hopefully that'll be tomorrow. I would bet, fairly late at night as usual per their schedules. So that's good news, given all that's going on, that they're still, pushing forward with new content. I really like to see that. The next big thing that they talked a lot about was, some of these RPC issues and the lag that they've been talking about on their Graph API. It's their system that basically indexes the blockchain and is what really drives the whole game. It's what knows the current listings in the tavern, and all of that sort of information is in there. So they said that their new improved version 6 is going to be coming to the beta site real soon, which is awesome news for us users of the game who want to see that up-to-date information and not get some of these errors that we've been having. The next cool thing about this upgrade was that it's going to have cross-chain syncing capabilities, which I'm pretty sure that nobody really has that yet. I mean, there's bridges, but this is like one tool that is really indexing multiple chains, and that'll be necessary for the Avalanche expansion. So you can get a synchronized database between the Harmony blockchain for Serendale and the Crystal Veil on Avalanche. So that was really cool too.
That sounds fantastic. It's really impressive, all the investments that they're making into this game. it's not just groundbreaking in how the idea of gamifying decentralized finance in this way, but it's also game breaking or groundbreaking in terms of how they are connecting the different blockchains together. So it just continues to give me faith about this development team. That's really exciting.
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree more. Yeah, they're making a cool product and pushing the technology forward at the same time. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Um, the next couple things were someone was asking a question about token counts, and I think they've said this before, but it's basically, yeah, you're gonna have a quarter as many token in all of their sub realms like Crystal Veil as there is the Jewel Power token. So that was kind of just mentioned again, and they also mentioned that they welcome arbitrage to keep you know they want people to take advantage if there's price fluxes between Crystal Veil and Serendale. They want users to benefit from that and jump in there and take advantage, which is really cool. And then finally, they teased a little bit, which I'd never actually quite heard this before. Obviously, for landowners, they said that there might be in the future airdrops for landowners, which we'd heard that part. But the other part that they teased was having airdrops for high-level heroes, which I think is really cool. And again, it's another one of those ways for them to really benefit people who are playing the game, not literally just LP gardening or whatnot.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I'm still unfortunately stuck in level 3 with all my heroes. Did I understand that you got a guy up to level 4?
Yeah, yeah. Yesterday I got my first guy to level 4, and then today I got my second guy. And it's interesting too, that it happens to be a common character that I have. He is a ninja fisher, which helps a lot, given that fishing was it was one of the first two released professions. But it's pretty cool to see that one of my best performing questers right now is in fact just a common hero. So for those people out there who aren't able to afford that legendary or mythic character, there's a lot of value in common heroes too. I think that's important for us to keep in mind.
Yeah, I'm still a ways away, so a bit jealous, but I need to become a little more diligent on making sure I have the quest continuing to go.
Yeah, and the only thing I would say too is it's cool that you see, at level 4 you get that extra stamina too, so you're at 27 now. But when you're questing something like fishing and you're throwing them all together, you really can't use that extra 2 yet. So because it kind of throws a time gap, time phase into your heroes that you're questing together. So it isn't as useful as I was hoping it to be. And later on levels it'll add up though, and it will be.
Maybe
So
Steve can sneak in his nap without getting noticed this time.
I mean, he's gonna have to because he can't keep up with
With everyone else.
these high levels.
All right. Well, let's go now to the main event. As many of our listeners probably know by now, we have a couple Gen Zero heroes between the group of us, Neindorf, Walton, and myself. And we take turns summoning with those Gen Zero heroes. And we've kind of broken it down by really a few different options. And so, of course, you could take those Gen Zeros and you could hire them out. Now, I think we've only done that once out of all the times we've summoned. We could pair them together where you have one Gen Zero and the other Gen Zero, and that reduces your hiring fees. You still have your summoning costs. Or you could hire in one or two heroes for either of the two. And so tonight we thought it'd be kind of fun to walk you through our analysis as we start to look at the portal page and the kind of things that we think about when we're summoning heroes. And so the first thing that I'll bring up here is in our Gen Zeros we have a pirate and we have a monk. The pirate was the first hero that we grabbed, and his name is I think we call him Zed or Z, Zuthurius Wood Defender, and he is a gardener. And the monk that we picked up is a fishing class. And so, of course, I believe, as most people know by now, if you have a pirate and a monk together, you have about a 15% chance of acquiring that next advanced class, which is a ninja. and ninjas are tier 1 fishermen. And I don't have a lot of great fishermen right now, and so that's something that Walton's been in my ear about, and I've been thinking about it as I go along. And so one of the things that we gave a link to in the first episode was a value calculator. And so tonight, Neindorf and I did some research. We modified that value calculator, and we're going to jump into that quick. So let me jump over to the value calculator screen. All right, so we'll go ahead and put a link to the Google Docs of the value calculator. We'll put that in both the YouTube description and in the podcast description if you want to access this. Since the inception of the value calculator, a couple really important things have come out in the world, in Discord. One of those is by Mr. Zipper. And so, Neindorf, I'm going to jump over to Discord. Do you want to talk through the HeroBot quick?
Sure. So basically, it's this pretty cool tool that, as you said, Mr. Zipper, I believe, has written. And it allows you to enter in commands and get those detailed information about the genes and those recessive and dominant genes we've talked about. And as you can see, he's if you're on YouTube at least, he's got a match function where you can basically get a lot of information on if I were to pair hero A and hero B for summoning, what are my chances of the new summoned hero? Is it what I want, or is it going to be, another Steve the Pirate?
And so when we're looking at our two Gen Zeros, one's a gardener, one's a fisher, and the things that are really sticking out to me as most important is, first off, I'm going for that ninja class. Getting to the advanced class, no matter what the profession is, you're going to have those higher stat rolls, and so every time you level up, you're more likely to gain in stats, and they have higher base stats than your basic heroes. The second thing that I'm hoping to influence would be the profession as well. And so we have our gardener and our fisher, and you can see here that gives us a 39% chance of having a fisher and a 37% chance of having a gardener. Now, can you help me understand where are these other two professions coming from?
Yeah, so that all comes from, as we were kind of alluding to before, those dominant and recessive genes that have kind of been talked a lot about. And I think that had to do when we brought on Sandwich Punch. He talked a little bit about that, and he has some good write-ups about that too. But basically, for that applies to profession, not just main and subclass. That gene system, and I actually think the gene system applies to a lot of the aspects of the heroes. Even I think he said like eye color and hair color. Like they apply this genetic scheme to most of the stats that these NFT heroes possess, which is really cool in my opinion.
I know I'm pretty excited about the swamp background here. 40% chance of swamp butt, so that's
and windy as well.
yeah,
It looks like
windy swamp.
37%
Those sound
wind.
like miserable conditions, but at least,
Oh, that's awesome.
excuse me, at least he'll have a lot of intelligence. We have a 76% chance of an intelligence roll here. So, normally under, I guess, I don't know if anything is really normal circumstances in DeFi Kingdoms, but I'm going to go ahead and bounce back to the Excel page, which this is shared in a Google Docs. And what we've done is we've dropped in an updated column D, these percentages, to match what we saw there. And the two kind of questions that I had for Neindorf tonight was, what are my potential values of any profession? And so that would be kind of in my mind gardening or fishing. Or if I try to better control the fishing and I go and rent out another pirate fisher to pair with our monk fisher, what would those percentages be? And so let's go ahead and jump back over to to the portal page here on DeFi Kingdoms, and let's just see what's on the marketplace right now.
Yeah, we can take a look at the heroes currently out there for hire. And, and that's the other thing too, is Walton has talked about this, that the main class that matches the profession, in this case fishing, is going to cost a little bit more. So I think we suspect that the rental fee for a fisher with a matching main class is probably going to be a little higher. So I'm interested to see how much that price jumps here.
All right, so as you can see here, these sticky filters are still reflecting our research from a little bit earlier tonight. And so we have a monk. So I'm looking for a fishing pirate who is a generation 0. All right.
20 looks like 20 rental fee looks like the floor price here.
Okay, so what do you think about that? Let's go ahead and we're going to bounce back
20
now
jewel.
to the Excel page. And so what we've done is we've looked at, we're calling it any profession, but we've priced out the floor of commons, uncommons, rares, and legendaries and mythics for pirates, monks, and ninjas, and we've kind of put other into its own bucket for right now. And this is while our one hero is gardening and the other one is fishing. To simplify this, we're just calling this any profession. And here we have this next section just below that, where we have a fishing only pricing category, where, like you mentioned, those values are increased. If you scroll over to the right of the value matrix, you then see the multiplied percentage times that value to create a matrix that totals up all the potential jewel prices of just going out and selling that next hero to give you an approximate value. And so we have 96 jewels is the current average value of our two guys summoned together. And if we were to go out and hire another fishing profession, and that was, let's just call it 100% chance, then that one would be 120 jewel. So let's take one of these guys quick and punch it into the hero bot calculator. So I'm going to jump back over to the Discord page, and I'm going to have you remember hero number 261.
Sure.
All right. So we're over on Discord. 261.
Yep.
Let's see if that works. All right. So we have our two heroes matched up, and fishing. Oh, mountains have overtaken the swamp. So, let's see.
Fishing from a mountain, huh?
So that's good. From a forecast perspective, this is looking great. Fishing is now an 85% chance, and foraging is a 12% chance. And ninjas are tier 2 foragers, I believe. Isn't that correct?
Yeah, I believe you're right. They make fantastic fishermen and pretty solid foragers. Okay. Yep.
So for all intents and purposes, as I jump back to the value calculator, let's just say that was gardening. That would worry me a little bit that our calculation down here for fishing wasn't valid anymore. And then what I might do is, take this value times 85%, just to, well, actually, you'd look at the difference between the two and take that by 85%. But I think where this is going is it's if I do end up with a forager, you got the 85 and 12% chance, you have a really high percentage chance roll of gaining that value back. And as I mentioned earlier, I am really interested in trying to get that ninja fisher. And so, as my New Year's resolution is, I'm not going to do any impulse summoning. And so I feel like this value difference of being about 24 joules is great enough for me to go ahead and pull that trigger. And as we jump back to the DeFi Kingdoms page, now again we're looking at this this higher price being 20 joule, which is a little less than that value difference of 24 joule. Now, granted, I'm making some approximations here by saying that fishing and foraging will sell for equivalent amounts. I guess, what are your comments here, Neindorf? What do you think I should do?
Yeah, so I mean, I think this is all really good, and I think the part that you got to keep in mind too is if you do them together, there's that opportunity cost, right? So you could choose just one to pair with number 261 in the analysis here, and odds are you're going to get a fisher, which is good, which is what you're looking for. But then you also could still rent out our other guy and make a profit off of that too. And I think, what is the floor rental price for any Gen Zero now? Is it about 9 or 10 maybe? I think if you just put back on all the professions, yeah. What is it? What do we show here? So this is what I think you need to compare that to. So it looks like your value calculator says you have a 24 joule gain, and it's only going to cost you. Oh yeah, there you go. 8 joules the floor rental for a pirate, 20 joules the rental for a fishing pirate. So honestly, the value calculator tells me that you should choose your fisher because it gets you that profession that you're really looking for.
All right. Well, let's do it live.
All right, I'm excited. This will be our first
live summon,
streamed summoning here.
Yeah, and real quick to take the viewers through, you may have seen me scroll down and get tempted to look at the rental price of legendaries and mythics.
Don't do it. That's an impulse.
Is 39 joule. And while you feel like you might be improving your odds quite a bit, your percentage of getting a mythic, you'd have to punch it into the bot calculator, but it goes up from, I think it's 1.8% with 2 rares, to, it might be marginally above that. It's not going to impact the value. And I guess for, the sake of running the numbers, let's do that quick just to kind of show the listeners that I'm sticking to my New Year's resolution as of January 4th. And I won't succumb to the pressure yet. All right, so we're going to jump back to Discord first, and the other hero to look at is 527. All right, so we're going to look at...
Yeah, I'm really interested to see what this shows, because I've actually never selected a mythic hero to summon with. I just have never had, that... I don't know, to me, the jewel price has always been so much higher that it hasn't been worth it, but it is, with jewel being so expensive, it's actually not as much more as I thought it would have been.
Right.
And I'm not meaning to feed your impulse by any means.
Yeah, we got to stamp out that. All right. And so here we can look at these rarities. So it goes up to a 5.35% chance rarity. And so if you really wanted to punch this into the calculator...
Well, that's legendary now. Don't look at the wrong row here.
Yeah, right.
Keep you honest.
2.65% chance of mythic. That's right. Yeah, you see how I can get...
So you gain about,
you see why this was my resolution,
0.8%.
Right? All right, so if we jump back to the value calculator page, if a listener did want to calculate this, what they would then go and do is upgrade the percentage matrix for your common, uncommon, rare, legendary, and mythic to the percentages that we just showed. But alas, it is January 4th, and I am strong of will tonight, and so we are not going to do that. I'm going to jump back into DeFi Kingdoms now, and let's go ahead and make this summoning happen. So I'm going to go ahead and hire the one that is the best value here, Pirate Thief. Hire hero. stars.
Time to shed some tears for a new hero. Let's see what we get.
All right. Begin summon.
Did you fill us in on the last time on what your previous turn turned out? I can't remember.
I'm not sure I did. My previous turn, I actually paired. I'm a bit jewel pinched at the moment. I was getting ready to mobilize Jewel to go into the gardens. I think, as I explained in the last podcast, I was trying to figure out how to get into the incentivized AVAX pool for Crystal, but I found out that's on the Avalanche network. So, long story short, I ended up pairing our two heroes together, and I got a common. And I sold him. I didn't test the market as much as I probably should have, but I sold him for 65 jewel, and it cost me 60 jewel to summon him. So a slight profit. All right, so here we go. We have one hero NFT crystal. Let's go to the summoner, and we have a 15-second.
The suspense is building.
Yeah, suspense is building.
Place your bet real quick. What do you think? What are you feeling? What's your gut?
I'm feeling uncommon ninja.
Ooh, I like it.
How about you?
I'm feeling rare pirate fisher.
Rare pirate fisher. That I would certainly be happy with. Anything rare and above, that would be fantastic. I do have a legendary monk that I'm sitting on, so I would be excited to pair a rare or above pirate with that legendary monk for sure. Okay, and
absolutely.
I guess one more tease here before we open this up. Our subscriber goal of 200 subscribers, we're going to let a couple people have access to our Gen 0 heroes to have an at-cost summoning. And so you can go through this exact process that we just went through. If you want to rent the Mythic, you can. You're paying the at cost. And so whatever it costs in Jewel, we will charge it to you there, and we won't take any extra profit on top of that. All right, click and open now.
All right, hopefully MetaMask is working here.
Paying for the MetaMask transaction. Well, MetaMask is opening very slowly.
Gotta love that Pixel Fox.
Yeah. Starting to get anxious. I should have clicked on this earlier.
Ooh, here it is.
All right, clicking the confirm button. And now we wait again. All right.
Oh, come on.
Looks like a pirate to me.
Oh.
Let's check him out. Oh, all right. Well, that's a Walrath Timber Braider. He's a common pirate thief, and he is a fisher with agility. So, well, it was about as bottom of the barrel as we could have gone. But we went through the value calculator, and I'm really glad that I did not succumb to my impulses to rent above that. I stick by the numbers, and I'm in this game for the long term. It looks like we did not get swamp either. I'm not sure what that background is. We got shooting stars.
That's a mountain pirate.
Yeah,
somehow we got a mountain pirate.
No,
I'm pretty
desert
sure.
Water.
Oh, desert.
All right. Well, there we have it. Maybe we'll even give this guy away as another promotion for the podcast. So that's it for tonight from Raph and Neindorf high above the keep in the hot air balloon. Thank you very much for listening, and take care.